And welcome back to another action-packed hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling on Seaside Communication as we head to John Patterson, our ring announcer for tonight.
Unknown weighing in at 200 pounds, the Black MAMBA.
The Black MAMBA, the first competitor we see this evening, as Brian Murray will be the referee for this first contest. And I don't know how much this Reserve Minds crowd knows about the Black MAMBA. Certainly carries an aura about himself. And will he prove to be popular with the fans here in Reserve Minds? Well, only time will tell. And I think that response tells you what you need to know. Again, this is our opening contest. Another action-packed hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling on Seaside Communication. Going to be a very busy summer of great wrestling action as the Black MAMBA comes to the ring and trying to win favor with the fans, or is he trying to win favor with the fans? He's kicking his steps in frustration. He's already worked up and the match hasn't even started yet. And barely hear yourself think over the crowd here. They're all fired up in Reserve Minds. It's going to be a great night of action. And the Black MAMBA starting us off here with his opponent about to be introduced. And I'll tell you, I think there's nary a seat to be found here. Fans coming in droves for ECPW action. And these fans are letting you know what they think of the Black MAMBA, and well, that's not much.
Hailing from Halifax, Nova Scotia, weighing in at 175 pounds, the freshman Jeff James.
Coming to the ring is the freshman Jeff James, and obviously his nickname would indicate not a lot of experience, but he's eager to go and looks like he'll have the backing of the fans here in Reserve Minds. Great job by John Patterson, the ring announcer. His first tour of duty here in ECPW, teeing up the competitors for us. As Jeff James comes to the ring, I will say a varsity sports-esque attire. It's not taken long for him to capture the imagination of the fans here in Cape Breton. Of course, a variety of competitors dot the ECPW roster, and neither of these men are among the biggest, but certainly a lot of heart. And referee Brian Murray checking Jeff for weapons. Wants to make sure this is on the level, that this contest is contested fairly. Brian Murray, a very capable official. Had a bit of misfortune last summer, actually. He was injured during the Celtic Chaos Tour. But he's back refereeing these two fine competitors. And I believe that as a "You are garbage" chant directed towards the Black MAMBA, Jeff James is more than happy to egg the fans on. And are we even going to have a match here? The Black MAMBA was threatening to walk out, but it appears that he will think twice of it and head back to the ring. I'm sure Sheldon McLean would be levying some heavy fines if he were to no-show this contest. And we don't know what he looks like, but we know what he sounds like now as a result of him trash-talking the audience. And the Black MAMBA looks like he's in no hurry to get this underway. And finally the bell rings. And a big collar and elbow tie-up to start off the first contest. An action-packed hour of ECPW wrestling here on Seaside Communication. And first strike goes to the Black MAMBA. A toss-over of Jeff James, who will look to shrug that off and regroup. Another tie-up in the middle of the ring. Bit of a size advantage for the Black MAMBA, and he big scoop and a slam, and he lays Jeff James onto the mat. That's a brand new ring, but maybe not a ton of feel as Jeff James is back, feeling the power of the Black MAMBA. As I mentioned, these aren't the two biggest dogs in the fight, but plenty of fight in them. Another time in the middle of the ring, another hip toss for the Black MAMBA. And that crowd advantage not doing Jeff James much favors here in the early going in downtown Reserve Mines. You can hear the spirited crowd trying to urge Jeff James on. And the Black Mamba more than happy to taunt the ECPW faithful. And a hip toss goes the way of Jeff James, and another arm drag as he gains control of this matchup and counters with a body slam of his own. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Jeff James. And the Black Mamba scurries out of the ring, pardon me. And he was headed for the doors, and he's trying to call a timeout. I'm sure Brian Murray's going to tell him there's no timeouts in professional wrestling. You better get back in the ring because that 10 count's going to be starting. And in fact, it's already starting. Of course, referee's discretion leeway on that 10 count, but Brian Murray, I think, has probably already had enough of the Black Mamba's antics, and he's starting that 10 count now. And the fans still letting the Black Mamba hear it, and perhaps now the fans are starting to get to this mysterious masked wrestler. And again, he's making his presence known with the Reserve Mines fans. And Jeff James going to throw him back into the ring the hard way. If you don't want to play ball, I'll make you play ball, he says. And he brings him down with an atomic drop. Sizes him up. Another atomic drop, this time's forward. A big clothesline. No, it's a drop kick from Jeff James. And now that's going to really impress the fans here at Cape Breton. And the Black Mamba beginning to beg off, and I don't know if that's going to curry any favor with Jeff James. I don't think so. He's got him in the corner, but some nefarious means for the Black Mamba to gain advantage of this matchup. Throws Jeff James into the corner, and a bit of a rake to the back here. It looks like a chokehold there. He's got 5 to break, and boy, it looked like he was going to utilize the full 4 seconds before he was forced to break the hold. Has him along the ropes now and using his leg to push the weight down onto Jeff James. And again, Brian Murray in great position there to enforce that 5 count. And Black Mamba perhaps uncharacteristically being a sportsman and breaking before 5, but now he's right back on the attack. And he's got to be careful. Only a limited amount of kicks in the corner before the referee interjects. First pinfall attempt of the match here. Oh, and Jeff James didn't even allow a 1 count. But it looks like he may be favoring his right shoulder. And the Black Mamba, smart, going right back to work on that arm. And now unleashing a pounding along the ropes. And again being admonished, given that 5 count. And he's been able to sway control of this match his way. Again, the Black Mamba and Jeff James in tonight's opening bout here on ECPW on Seaside Communication. Whipped into the ropes, ducks a clothesline. James ducks another clothesline. And he thought he had the Black Mamba scouted, but instead he went for a ride. And the Black Mamba reassumes control of this matchup. Another pinfall attempt. It's a 1 and a kick out at 1. And Jeff James has his head in the game. If you can kick out at 1, you kick out at 1. And a rake to the eyes and perhaps maybe a bit of an inexperienced move on the part of the Black Mamba there, not hooking the leg. Caliber wrestler of Jeff James, he's going to kick out every time if you don't hook the leg. And again, I think the Black Mamba needs to be more focused on his opponent and care less about the people here in the arena think. Another modification of a chokehold there against the ropes. And although the Black Mamba has dominated the bulk of this matchup, the crowd not losing faith here in Jeff James as he gets a couple of body shots, trying to fight from underneath off the apron, but not proving to be successful as his face literally being rubbed into the mat by the Black Mamba. And Jeff James, he may not know what town he's in here. He's in Reserve Mines. The fans are behind him, but it's not doing him a lot of good right now. As the Black Mamba gets a few more kicks in along the ropes. Grabs Jeff James by the tights. And puts him into the corner and unleashes a vicious chop. You'll see a red mark on Jeff James tomorrow, and that'll be another one. Oh, he ducks! And a bit of taste of his own medicine there for the Black Mamba. And he's telling the crowd one more, and the crowd wants it, and they're going to get it. Jeff James going corner to corner here with the Black Mamba, but a duck. A roll reversal, and boy, these two guys are wearing each other's chests out here, and Black Mamba going for another choke. And again, Brian Murray in position for the count. He's got to watch that. The Black Mamba, he may get disqualified here. He's going to go for a pinfall attempt, and this time he does hook the leg. He gets a 2 count. And if you're the Black Mamba, I guess you're getting closer to that 3 count. He's looking up to the top rope, perhaps a high-risk maneuver here. The first time we see this in today's hour of television. It looks like he's going to go to the second rope. Still a lot of high risk from that area. What is he going to do? Maybe perhaps an elbow drop. Oh, and he misses. Jeff James rolls out of the way, and I said from that second rope, an area of high risk. And it did not pay off for the Black Mamba. And Jeff James now trying to use this crowd to rally back into this matchup. And a clothesline, he sends the Mamba down, and another one. The Black Mamba whipped into the ropes and then whips James into the ropes. He goes all the way over. Mamba runs into the turnbuckle up to the top rope. Jeff James whips into the corner. Mamba runs into a big boot, but he has it well scouted. A counter, but he has no counter for a knee to the face. Jeff James, neck breaker and into a pinfall attempt. And a 2 count. And that's the top offense we've seen from Jeff James, and he had a hard time believing that was only a 2 count, but Brian Murray in great position. As the crowd now with the Jeff chants behind Jeff James. Seizing up his competitor. Trying to drive him face down to the mat, but he's thrown into the turnbuckle. Mamba looking for a cutter, but it's countered. These two have well scouted each other heading into this matchup. You can tell that. Face first into the mat. And it's a 1, a 2, and a 3. Jeff James picks up the victory. Face the ECPW, but he's impressing in a hurry. The freshman Jeff James picks up the win over the Black Mamba in a spirited opening contest here of ECPW on Seaside Communications. And it's a victory in the bank for the freshman Jeff James here in Reserve Mines. Going to be a great summer of ECPW action, and the Celtic Chaos Tour will take place this July 20th, a Saturday in Inverness, and a Sunday at the North Side Exhibition, Sunday, July 21st. ECPW Celtic Chaos. Again, 2 dates lined up in July. It's going to be great action. It is a Saturday night, July 20th in Inverness. Sunday, July 21st at the North Side Exhibition. We'll see the likes of Jeff James with a big victory tonight in the opening contest over the Black Mamba. We'll bring you back now to John Patterson, our ring announcer, for tonight's contest.
Official ECPW merchandise is on sale.
Great crowd here in Reserve Mines for the matches this evening, as we are in the midst of another action-packed hour here on Seaside Communication.
The next match is scheduled for 1 fall. Coming to the ring first, hailing from Brilliant, Ohio, with an IQ of 137, the Answer.
And the Answer, he may have a lot of IQ points, but he doesn't have a lot of brownie points with these fans here in Reserve Mines or anywhere else he goes. Generally speaking, it's not a great way to make a good impression on the fans by telling them how much smarter you are than they are. But that is something the Answer has had a tendency to do over the years. And as he makes his way out, he will not be warmly received here by the fans in Reserve Mines. He does have a magnificent mustache. You have to give him that. The fans not appreciating it, though. Referee Brent Murray apologized if he was misidentified earlier. He has this match As the answer awaits his opponent, he comes into the ring. The answer has seen his share of bouts here in the Maritimes. He's become a staple in East Coast pro wrestling, but as I mentioned earlier, not the most popular with the fans here in Reserve Mines or any of the other locales he's wrestled.
Bathurst, Brunswick, weighing 237 pounds, KIRK.
His opponent, another familiar face to Maritime wrestling fans, and from right here in the Maritimes, KIRK AUBE, the pride of Bathurst, New Brunswick. And I anticipate he will be the fan favorite in this contest. Whether or not that leads to a victory, as we saw Jeff James record earlier tonight, well, time will tell. That'll be settled in the squared circle in that beautiful new ring here in ECPW. Brent Murray, the official for this matchup. As again, it is the answer against KIRK AUBE in the second matchup tonight. And a great hour of ECPW action. As looks like KIRK AUBE is trying to do a tour of the entire building before he makes it to the ring, and now he's out in front of these fans. And they are appreciating the presence of KIRK AUBE. KIRK AUBE may be giving up a bit of size. Tough to gauge between these two competitors. Probably see a bit more power than we saw in the opening matchup. Great variety of competitors here in ECPW. As the answer sarcastically applauding the efforts of KIRK AUBE. Earlier you heard me comment that the one redeeming thing about the answer was his mustache. Well, even the fans in Reserve Mines, they don't agree with that assessment. As he is hearing it, of course he has quite the large beard as well. It's a playoff season for both of these guys, I guess. And certainly an important matchup here as we continue on with an hour of action-packed ECPW wrestling on Seaside Communication. A reminder, of course, ECPW will continue on into the summer months. Action coming your way in Inverness and North Sydney in July. But we've got great action from Reserve Mines. Second bout of this great hour of action. It'll be KIRK AUBE. And I guess you could say the red or wine trunks, whichever color you prefer, against the answer adorned in his traditional pink. I guess you can consider it ironic, maybe, that the answer always wears a question mark on his ring attire. I guess maybe it is we the people that have the questions, and he is the one that has all the answers. But does he have the answers for KIRK AUBE? Well, the answer to that lies between the ropes of the squared circle this evening. As KIRK AUBE pleading almost with the answer to dispose of his facial hair. So a battle for superiority of the beards, I guess we can say, in this contest. Although much more to both of these competitors than that. As AUBE, I think, asking Brent Murray if he should check the answer for weapons, but we got a tie-up, and we're underway with the second contest in this hour of ECPW action. And early on in this contest, we see KIRK AUBE go to work on the arm of the answer, trying to take out one of those appendages. Solid strategy from KIRK AUBE. As the answer, not the only smart competitor in the ring right now, but he manages to gain control, working on the head of KIRK AUBE, and now the arm. Twisting that arm in the opposite direction, not the way it's supposed to bend. A rollover for KIRK AUBE as he tries to escape the grip of the answer. Talked about the power that the answer has. Obviously bills himself as an intelligent individual, but certainly it brings some power to the ring as well. As now it's KIRK AUBE going to work on that left arm of the answer. You take away arm, take away some of that attack. Methodical start to this matchup. As The answer wrapping KIRK AUBE up in a headlock and going to work on the popular grappler from Bathurst. And that's not proving to be popular with the fans here, as KIRK AUBE at least temporarily brought to his knees. And again, it's the left arm that's the target for the answer. KIRK AUBE trying to power his way out, and perhaps he'll get some support from the fans here in reserve minds. Great crowd here for tonight's matches. And nothing like an old step to the foot to get out of that predicament. To then a big chop from the answer. And he is asking for approval, and he will receive none. Instead, he receives a chop. As KIRK AUBE backs the answer into the corner. And he asks the fans if they want to see one more. And of course they do, and they're going to get it. And the answer has no choice but to back away into the opposite corner, but he cannot escape his opponent. And I don't care if he's wearing tights up to his neck, he's still going to feel that one tomorrow. Ducks that chop, though, and tries a roll reversal, but he gets nothing but turnbuckle. And a heavy chop sends the answer to the mat and then out to the floor to regroup. And probably a smart move. Match wasn't going to his liking, so the answer will reset. And he certainly doesn't look like he has all the answers right now, as he's walking around outside, and the crowd in fact taunting him, asking him what's the answer, and right now he has none for his opponent KIRK AUBE. Great action here. ECPW going to be going on all summer. July 20th in Inverness and July 21st at the North Side Exhibition, the Celtic Chaos Tour. That's coming up in July. And in the meantime, we've got great action here in reserve minds, as the arm of KIRK AUBE is thrown against that rope, and those ropes are unforgiving, folks. And now the arm feeling the weight of the knees of the answer. First pinfall attempt of the match, and it's just a 1 count. And you think the answer, intelligent as he is, would know to hook the leg, but perhaps he's just testing KIRK AUBE in the early stages, and I don't think he expected to get a pinfall this early in the matchup. Now he's putting all of his weight on the back of KIRK AUBE, and these are effective wear-down holds, folks. Take the energy out of your opponent, you take away his offense. And going to work on both the arm and the back of KIRK AUBE, and another powerful elbow, and now the answer is bowing, expecting appreciation for what he has done in the ring tonight. And a couple of elbows to the stomach are for naught as the answer regains control. And it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, is maybe those elbows don't have as much effect when you've been worn down in the earlier part of the matchup. The answer now trying to use KIRK AUBE's arms against him as he's tying him up on the rope, and Brent Murray, the referee, on top of it, doing a great job to make sure that there's no nefarious tactics there in the ropes. Almost shades of the big boss man there as the answer throwing all of his weight. And he has actually tied KIRK AUBE to the rope. I don't know what he used, whether that was the wristband. I think it was the wristband of the left arm of KIRK AUBE. And KIRK AUBE thankfully was able to get himself free, but damage already done, it looks like, as the answer in firm control of this matchup. And again, the answer doing a great job of going to work on that arm. And for the time being, has KIRK AUBE pinned to the mat. He's not trying to get the victory right now. He's trying to wear down his opponent, and he's doing a pretty effective job of it. And now a kick to that left shoulder, and then a powerful leg drop. Now almost some joint manipulation into the fingers, and of course you take away a wrestler's arm, you take away some of his power, and also makes kicking out more difficult as well. So the answer well scouted on KIRK AUBE. And now he's thrown into the turnbuckle looking for a roll-up. And it's a 1, it's a 2! And a kick out at 2, and the answer caught off guard. He runs into an elbow out of the corner. Up to the second rope is KIRK AUBE. And a powerful axe handle brings the answer down. Another pinfall attempt, a 1, 2, and a kick out. Hooked the leg, but the answer able to get up. But maybe not for long. KIRK AUBE calling for the support of the crowd. Goes for a fireman's carry, perhaps. Has the answer high up above his head. But the answer able to escape and throws KIRK AUBE into the ropes. Goes from corner to corner. A shoulder into the post. That shoulder he's been working on throughout the course of this contest. And now meets the unforgiving steel of the rectangular ring post as the answer lines up his prey for a back suplex hard into the mat. And the answer, a 1 and a 2, and again, not covering those legs, but a bit of a slower kick out there, and I think that's as a result of the work that's been done on the shoulders throughout this match. KIRK AUBE has the answer rather, is a defined strategy, and again going to work on that arm. And the fans don't like it, but the master strategist of the answer is proving to be successful here, at least thus far, but we don't have a winner yet in this matchup. Answer out of the second rope, and a powerful knee down into the arm. And now another pinfall attempt, hooks the leg this time, 2, and it's just a 2. But again, it seems like a KIRK AUBE with a little less authority with each of those kickouts. And the answer has been in control of most of this matchup. And you have to wonder if it's a matter of time as the answer wears down his opposition, going again to work on that arm, and he could get a submission, or the referee could throw the match out if he feels that KIRK AUBE is not able to continue. He's really done a good job working on both arms throughout the match. Now using the strength of both of his legs, and of course if KIRK AUBE has to make sure that his other arm goes up, because he can find himself in a pinning predicament. Doesn't have to be a set cover. If the referee sees both shoulders down, then he can go for a pinfall attempt. And the crowd beginning to clap now, trying to urge KIRK AUBE off the mat. And he's going to need all that support. Rolls over. Now he's trying to lift the answer off the mat. Pinfall attempt, and it's a 2. AUBE back into the corner with a big clothesline, and you can tell he's feeling it, using every ounce of strength. And the earlier punishment on that arm, making it difficult to inflict those clotheslines, but KIRK AUBE, with the heart of a lion, whips his opponent into the corner, and a pair of knees into the gut. Overhead suplex, throws the answer down to the mat. Into the pinfall attempt, it's a 1, a 2, and it's just a 2. Great cover there by KIRK AUBE, both legs hooked, but the answer showing some resilience of his own. And he kicks out. And these two giving no quarter, as they would say. Up over the head of KIRK AUBE is the answer. Oh, thrown into a modified diamond cutter. And the answer slow to get up and pretty much goes to his instincts to just roll out onto the floor. Probably a smart move, but given the impact of that cutter, he may be lucky to beat the 10 count. But KIRK AUBE doesn't want to win that way. He's going to go right out after his opponent. And the answer appeared to grab a sign, I believe, from one of the fans in the crowd. And feel bad for that youngster if he has to go spend some more money to replace that. And the answer, a kick and a smart move. He kicked the ropes, hitting the nether regions, and it's not the most sportsmanlike of play, but proved to be effective in bringing KIRK AUBE down to his knees. And he brings him down to the mat with authority, and a pinfall attempt. It's a 2, and it's a 3, and the answer has emerged victorious in this contest, much to the dismay of the fans here. The answer with an impressive victory over KIRK AUBE. The answer not always necessarily playing by the book, but you've got to give credit where credit is due, as that will go in the win column. Moving his way up the ranks here in ECPW. And as if the victory is not enough, the answer having words with the fans as Brent Murray untying the wrist tape of KIRK AUBE, as earlier in this contest, the answer tying KIRK AUBE up to the ropes. And really, that was a key point of the match, as well as when he kicked the rope when KIRK AUBE was trying to get back into the ring. And that was perhaps the last turning point that helped give the answer a victory in this contest. Great ECPW action here for you on Seaside Communication. Again, reminding you, Celtic Chaos Tour this summer in July. July 20th will be in Inverness. July 21st will be at the Northside Exhibition. Bringing it back to John Patterson in the ring as he introduces ring announcer James Ash for the final contest here in this hour in ECPW action.
From Fall River, Nova Scotia, weighing in at 282 pounds, Rick Stone.
It's the main event here in this hour of ECPW Wrestling on Seaside Communication as Riddick Stone makes his way to the ring. One of the most physically intimidating competitors in the Maritimes. And he's developed quite a pedigree around Atlantic Canada in the last few years. But he is going to have his work cut out for him tonight. As I said, this is the main event of this hour, and deservedly so. Two of the biggest names in the Maritime scene. And Riddick Stone, as a spoiler, will not be the fan favorite in this contest. And he's ensuring that by jawing with the fans before this one starts. If I were Riddick Stone, I'd get in the ring. You've got a heck of an opponent to worry about here. You probably should get in the ring and worry about getting the 1, 2, 3 as opposed to jawing with the fans. And the fans letting them hear it, but make no mistake, Riddick Stone is in tremendous shape. And he's going to have to be for his opponent tonight.
To the ring by Lacey's own Brent Corbett, hailing from Moncton, New Brunswick at 240 pounds. The East Coast
Titus, one of the most popular wrestlers in Atlantic Canada, will provide opposition for Riddick Stone, and a lucky fan has won the right to escort Titus to the ring tonight. And what an honor to come to the ring with a competitor the caliber of Titus, who, as you heard John Patterson refer to him, is known as the East Coast Predator. And he has made many wrestlers his prey over the years and has proved popular with the fans here in Cape Breton. And no doubt there'll be a thunderous ovation in reserve minds when Titus surfaces. This should be a great matchup, and again, it is your main event here on this hour of ECPW action on Seaside Communication, as we bring you only the best in Atlantic Canada and throughout this whole country. Again, a lucky fan coming to the ring with Titus for the main event in this hour of ECPW. As we await Titus to make his way through the crowd. Great hour of wrestling action as Titus comes to the ring. He's being escorted by a fan, and that's proving to be popular with everybody else here in reserve minds. And Titus rallying the support of the people, and he doesn't have to work hard to do that. Again, this is your main event to the hour of ECPW Wrestling. Great action we've seen already. You're just joining us earlier this evening. Chef James defeating the Black Mamba, and the Answer picking up a pinfall victory over KIRK AUBE. Pair of great matches, and we've got another one coming up for you here. Only the best in ECPW. Titus making sure to slap the hand of pretty much every fan in this arena. Yes. That is why he's one of the most popular competitors around these parts. And he's escorting the fan into the ring. And Riddick Stone looks a little bit perplexed. And perhaps that extra support can push Titus over the top. And what is a big match here.
Let's hear it for Brett, come on!
Crowd loving enjoying what they're seeing here in Reserve Mines. And Riddick Stone goes right to the back of Titus. And James Ash, the referee, ringing the bell. And little unsportsmanlike conduct there by Riddick Stone. And a powerful lariat brings Titus to the mat. And already taking the straps down. And Riddick Stone will be even less popular with that sneak attack to begin this contest. And James Ash having to admonish Riddick Stone. And these are two big competitors here. James Ash might have his work cut out for him, trying to keep this match in order. As powerful rights to the head of Titus. And now right to the throat, a big boot, courtesy of Riddick Stone. And again, he's going to use every bit of that 5 count. He has still 5, and he's making sure to use all of it. And on top of that, making sure that James Ash knows he knows what's up. Titus whipped out of the ropes, and another powerful elbow by Riddick Stone. I talked about the power. Great physique of Riddick Stone. Both these guys in great shape. Pair of bruising heavyweights here. Every blow will be a heavy one in this matchup. Overhead throw. There's Titus is slow coming into the blocks, I guess we can say. He's trying to get the crowd on his side here to get the energy level up, but right now it's Riddick Stone dominating the early portion of this matchup. Duck off a clothesline, another duck. Perhaps a powerful body slam coming up for Riddick Stone, and he decides to press Titus high above his head. Titus trying to throw some punches, and he gets on top of Riddick Stone. First pinfall attempt of the match, and it's a 2. So Titus using Riddick Stone's strength against him. And now Stone sent all the way to the floor. As the crowd likes how this match is beginning to unfold. Riddick Stone in frustration, hit by a drop kick. Low drop kick under the bottom rope. As Titus has rallied from that sneak attack at the beginning of the match and now finds himself in control as he slams the head of Riddick Stone to the mat. You can hear the fans getting behind Titus. The Let's Go Titus chants raining through the fire hall here in Reserve Mines. And he's urging for them to continue on with it. Titus rallying with some big blows of his own and a heavy chop to the throat of Titus, and that'll slow anybody down. And now Stone firing the head of Titus against the ring apron. It's the hardest part of the ring, as you know. That is not a pleasant feeling. But also not a pleasant feeling is when it's reversed and your head is thrown in to the post. And Riddick Stone will be feeling that as Titus rolls him under the bottom rope. The fans love Titus here in Reserve Mines. But he is hit with a powerful lariat. Pinfall attempt for Riddick Stone, and it's a 2 count, and Titus just gets the shoulder up. Riddick Stone disputing James Ash's count, but James Ash, a veteran official, is in great position, and he correctly says that was only a 2 count. And now if it wasn't enough to argue with the referee, he's arguing with the people here watching as well. Powerful headbutt by Riddick Stone in the corners. Titus whipped from post to post. Boy, and he almost went halfway around the ring as he came off the turnbuckle. Another pinfall attempt here. Boy, what about the strength of Riddick Stone throwing Titus into the turnbuckle? And as I said, Titus pretty much bounced halfway across the ring. A testament to the power that Riddick Stone has. And brings him into a chin lock. This is not a match this is not a move you're going to win a match with, but this is a wear down maneuver. Makes your offense a little less effective, especially if you got the arms of Riddick Stone wearing down your upper body. As Titus trying to get this crowd behind him, see if he can get back into this contest. Back to his feet to a vertical base. 2 shoulders and a 3rd elbow temporarily breaks the stranglehold, but Riddick Stone able to use the long dreads of Titus against him, grabs them and then throws Titus to the mat, and a stomp to the fingers for good measure. And Riddick Stone, not one known to play by the book, but for now his tactics proving effective. Titus escapes the corner. Reversal. Up to the second rope and a crossbody and a pinfall attempt. It's a 1 and a 2 and almost a 3. Again, James Ash in great position and a big near fall attempt for Titus, who now has the momentum on his side. Reversal for Riddick Stone, up into a big, powerful body slam. Riddick Stone slams Titus to the mat. And he is telling the fans that this match is over, but I wouldn't count Titus out just yet. Up to the second rope, high risk for Riddick Stone. And he goes for an elbow, but he hits nothing but mat. And now both competitors find themselves down, and if they don't get up, 10 count when you're down on that mat. And James Ash quick to start the count. And at the count of 3 or so, both of them slowly making their way to their feet. Counter by Titus and a big blow. Another blow to the face of Riddick Stone. Maybe even got an elbow in there. Reversal off the ropes. Duck under by Titus, and he makes contact. Powerful shot to the face of Riddick Stone, followed by a clothesline, and Stone into retreat in the corner. And now Titus has Riddick Stone where he wants him. Listen to the crowd count along. 10 powerful blows, all before the count of 5 in the corner. Reversal into the other post, but a miss. Titus coming off the ropes and a big boot. Pinfall attempt, leg hooked. It's a 1, it's a 2, and it's a 2 count for Titus. Of course, Titus, a tall and powerful individual, a lot of weight behind those boots, and just kicking out, certainly wearing down Riddick Stone. And a punch to the stomach, and then a big chop as Riddick Stone tries to whip Titus from post to post. Reversal, Riddick Stone to the corner now. But he's thrown over the ropes. Is Titus by Stone. These two know each other very well. Well scouted offense here. Titus to the top rope, high risk. Crossbody pinfall attempt. It's a 2, and it's a 3 count. A tremendous victory for Titus in tonight's main event. Defeating Riddick Stone with that crossbody coming off the top rope. Another impressive notch in the resume of the East Coast Predator as Titus picks up the big win over Riddick Stone. That is going to wrap up another great hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling here on Seaside Communication. But before we go, it appears Titus has a word for the audience in attendance.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your support and for showing up here at ECPW. I'm sure you guys are well aware of Brett's situation a few months back. When I heard of it, the first thing I wanted to do is come to Kid Brett and dedicate this match to him.
It's a sentiment appreciated by the fans here in Reserve Minds, that's for sure.
I think my friend Brett here would like to say a little something, so let's please listen to him.
Support is overwhelming. I appreciate all your chants and prayers. And if you ever see kid get bored like me,
house here in Reserve Minds, a special dedication. And great to see Brett, perhaps a good luck charm for Titus tonight. The level of competition here in ECPW, so many great competitors, so much talent, that it necessitated the creation of another championship. And the fans in Reserve Minds, they are going to see that play out tonight, as the first ever ECPW Celtic Chaos Roots champion will be determined tonight.
ECPW would like to thank our sponsors this evening. Pizza Place Bay, Non-Go-To Advertising Group, as well as SOB Mixed Martial Arts for the security duties, as always. The next match is a fatal four-way match. The winner of the match will be the very first ECPW Celtic Roots champion. The rules of the match. All four competitors will be in the ring at one time. The first person to score a pinfall will be declared the new champion. Making his way to the ring first, from Moncton, New Brunswick, weighing 220 pounds, Brian McKay!
As you heard the ring announcer John Patterson tell us, it is a historic night here in Reserve Minds, as the first ever Celtic Roots champion will be crowned. As I said, the level of competition in ECPW, it's pretty high, so there needs to be another title for all these fine competitors to vie for, and we've got four of the best fighting for the championship. And Brian McKay is the first out. And he is not proving to be popular here, as he makes his way to the ring. Again, a fatal four-way. First to score a pinfall wins the match. It is not elimination, it is first pinfall, and the stakes could not be higher. Celtic Roots title, a brand new championship, is on the line. James Ash, the assigned official for this one, and he'll be holding that title belt up momentarily, as apparently Brian McKay thinks he's already earned this title without doing anything, but that's not how it works. He's going to have to fight through three other high-quality competitors before he gets that nice-looking championship belt.
Weighing at 205 pounds, Zach Doyle!
Zach Doyle about to make his way to the ring, and what an exciting opportunity for these four men tonight. Imagine the prestige of saying you are the first Celtic Roots champion. And ECPW, a company that has proudly been running shows in Cape Breton for well over a decade. So many great wrestlers have come through this company. To be the first ever Celtic Roots champion will be quite an honor, and we have four of the best vying for that tonight. It is a fatal four-way. First pinfall will determine the first champion, as Zach Doyle makes his way to the ring. He's from right here in Nova Scotia, and that will no doubt earn some points with the fans here in Reserve Minds. Great crowd here in Reserve Minds, as this is the opening contest and another action-packed hour of ECPW Wrestling on Seaside Communication. Again, this is a fatal four-way match to crown the first ever Celtic Roots champion. As Brian McKay introduces the first competitor, Zach Doyle introduces the second competitor. And again, reminding you, ECPW is going to have a busy summer. Celtic Chaos Tour in July 20th in Inverness, and Sunday, July 21st at the North Side Exhibition. You'll see all Eagle Stars and probably see this new championship defended.
From Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, weighing 229 pounds,
Lincoln Steen, one of the longest tenured competitors in East Coast Pro Wrestling, but championship gold has evaded him to this point. And we know he is championship caliber, but he's yet to prove it. And you know that he would love nothing more than to be the first to raise that championship. As he may win curry with the gentleman I saw in a Saskatchewan Rough Riders hat there, the native of Moose Jaw, Lincoln Steen, as he has made his way to the ring, and usually not the most popular competitor among the ECPW audience. As Steen will soak in the adoration, can we say that? It's something that the people here in Reserve Mines are giving him, and say what you will about Lincoln Steen, he always gets a reaction when he comes out, although it may not be the one that he feels he deserves. Again, this is a fatal four-way contest. The winner will be the first ever Celtic Roots champion. And what better way to introduce this championship, beautiful championship that it is.
From St. John's, Newfoundland, weighing 215 pounds, Dynamite Dylan Davis.
Dynamite Dylan Davis, the fourth competitor in this matchup. And Brian McKay's reaction says it all, as originally Kobe Christ was scheduled to be the fourth competitor, but unable to compete due to injury. And I'll tell you, this is a more than capable substitute, as Dylan Davis certainly has the pedigree to walk out of this ring as the first ever Celtic Roots champion. And in fact, he may be the fans' choice. Although Zach Doyle will certainly have some support here as well. It has yet to be defended, but the Celtic Roots Championship already one of the most highly coveted prizes here in ECPW. A beautiful title belt. As we are kicking off this hour of ECPW action. And we're going to see history regardless of what happens here, folks. The first ever Celtic Roots champion about to be crowned. As Dylan Davis parading around the ring as Brian McKay jawing with the fans. So, fatal four-way first pinfall will win this match. And this is a dangerous match for all the competitors because, as you know, you do not have to be involved in the result in order to lose the match. And Brian McKay seems convinced that he's already won this championship, and he takes it and puts it up above his head, but that is nobody's title yet. As veteran official James Ash, he's refereed many, many matches in this company and certainly capable as a new champion, and yours truly gets to be the lucky holder of the belt for a few minutes anyway, as it resides on the desk here before one of the four much more deserving than me competitors will walk out with this title. So again, Lincoln Steen, Brian McKay, Zach Doyle, and Dylan Davis vying for the Celtic Roots Championship. History being made here in 2019 on Seaside Communications. And this should be a wild wrestling match, I would expect. Again, first pinfall attempt, so your conventional strategy may go out the window. You've got to make sure that not only do you not get pinned, but the result happens or doesn't happen without you being involved in it. And you're already seeing the gamesmanship, I guess we can say, of the four competitors. As Lincoln Steen tried to seize up the competition. And perhaps we're seeing some temporary alliances here. Lincoln Steen and Brian McKay faring off against Zach Doyle and Dylan Davis, and Lincoln Steen rolls out of the ring. And although not popular with the fans, I think there are some here that appreciate the strategy, if we can say. And Steen found himself one supporter, and he's going to take a seat ringside as Dylan Davis and Zach Doyle go to work on Brian McKay and James Ash, telling Lincoln Steen to get back in the ring. Now first pinfall attempt, and Dylan Davis pulls off Zach Doyle, and Zach Doyle reciprocates, and Lincoln Steen back into the ring. And I think Lincoln Steen thought he was on to a brilliant idea, but when he saw those pinfall attempts, he realized he needs to be in the ring to win this match. So he gets back in at a clothesline, and now his own pinfall attempt, and it's a 2 count. And Lincoln Steen appealing for 3, but James Ash in great position, and that was clearly a 2 count. Lincoln Steen now already betraying Brian McKay. Clothesline as the alliance resumes between Davis and Doyle. But Dylan Davis going to work now on both of his opponents that are in the ring. Davis, a neck breaker on Brian McKay. Pinfall attempt, but Steen coming out of nowhere to break that up. A lot of action to keep track of here, folks. Big overhead forearm for Lincoln Steen onto Dylan Davis. A reversal on a big chop. As Steen wanting to hear it, well, he's hearing it for the fans now. Series of chops by Dylan Davis on Lincoln Steen. And now Lincoln Steen getting right hands from all the other competitors in the match. And it's the right of Dynamite Dylan Davis that sends Steen to the mat and out into the floor, but he's going to trip up Zach Doyle, and that leaves Dynamite Dylan Davis and Brian McKay in the ring. McKay whips Davis into the ropes, but he's met with an elbow. And now off to the second rope, a flying elbow by Dylan Davis. Possible pinfall attempt. He's trying to seize up Brian McKay as Zach Doyle's looking to make his way back into the matchup. Now going to work on the arm, Dylan Davis slams McKay down to the mat. Pinfall attempt, and it's a 2. Brainbuster by Dylan Davis gets a 2 count. High impact offense from the Newfoundland native, as he has Brian McKay in the corner. And a big chop before he's met with an axe handle. And you have to have eyes in the back of your head in a match like this. As Zach Doyle now seemingly in control as he has McKay pinned up on that top rope. And a big chop. As McKay 1-2 Dynamite Dylan Davis for good measure from Zach Doyle. Zach Doyle now going up to the second rope himself. Perhaps going for a superplex here, but he's met. And now what's going to happen? Perhaps a joint attempt at a superplex. Zach Doyle and Dylan Davis have Brian McKay up on the second rope, but now Lincoln Steen coming in, and a dangerous situation here. Lincoln Steen throws all 3 competitors to the mat. And this crowd has come unglued. High-risk offense not paying off for anybody except Lincoln Steen. As an attempted superplex from Zach Doyle and Dylan Davis, they end up on their backs. The same as Brian McKay, who's whipped into the ropes. Ducks a clothesline flying enziguri, brings Lincoln Steen down to the mat. Backbreaker there from Zach Doyle, and Brian McKay goes out of the ring. Fireman's carry takeover by Dylan Davis, but he's thrown into the ring. Lincoln Steen, a pinfall attempt, and he's won the match! The opportunistic Lincoln Steen is your first ever Celtic Roots champion. And if you thought that Lincoln Steen had a swagger about him before, well, you're never going to hear the end of this one, folks, because your new Celtic Roots champion, the first, is Lincoln Steen. And the name of the game is being opportunistic in a fatal 4-way. taking advantage of that fireman's carry takeover in the right spot to seize a pinfall attempt. And Lincoln Steen has become your inaugural Celtic Roots champion. It was not the prettiest means of winning a title belt, but Lincoln Steen has etched himself in the history books here tonight in Reserve Mines. Your first ever Celtic Roots champion, and what a match it was. Again, the winner of the match, Lincoln Steen. And you may not like him, but Lincoln Steen earning the first ever Celtic Roots Championship here in Reserve Mines. And the fans don't like it, but that is their new Celtic Roots champion. And methinks if we know Lincoln Steen, he's going to be crowing about this one for quite some time. That's going to do it for another great hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling here on Seaside Communication. We'll catch you next week.